newspapers, so you get different stories. And there is a story coming out this morning. I think it originated in The Sun, but it's been quoted by a lot of other people. It quotes sources from the dressing room as well. And basically what it says is that Erik Ten Hag loves Marcus Rashford, which is actually true. And he sees Marcus Rashford as the perfect striker for his system, as his number one striker who is going to score the goals and become top class and fire Manchester United titles. And that's backed up by sources in the dressing room who say that they prefer Rashford in the team to Ronaldo because Ronaldo always wants the ball and Rashford suits their system better. So it poses an interesting question and certainly very, maybe not one for a Sunday morning when we're all looking to chill. But first of all, I would say that I think football is just funny at times. You know, I get a bit of stick, and I'm sure you do, because I try and be a little bit amber instead of red negative or green positive. And what I mean by that is I think football never should be a game that you change your opinion day to day. It's, maybe month to month, opinions do change, but it does seem it does seem to me somewhat reactionary that we're suddenly picking Rashford and Sancho for England. Rashford's suddenly our solution as a striker. And really, he didn't play particularly well against Leicester. He didn't play particularly well against Southampton. And he played well against Arsenal. So, and even if he'd played well in those 3 games, it's 3 games compared to 2 years of, underperforming. So I just think it's a bit reactionary. I think it's a bit soon, but it's also an example of how the media works and sometimes how social media works as well, is that you can... we saw it last season with Fred, McTominay, Maguire. They'd been bad for months. They'd have one good game and suddenly that's, I told you he's a good player. And I think we can be a bit reactionary as football fans in general, and the media certainly can as well. But to balance that, and why I stay in the amber and not the red, is because there is no doubt that Erik Ten Hag really values Marcus Rashford. This was part of the interview for him getting the job. The club were like, look, Rashford's got to be the star of this team. We've invested a lot of money in him. He's a young player. He's going to get a new contract. His brand is massive. He ticks all the boxes of what we want as a Man United player for the next 5 years. We want Rashford to be the star of this team. He's come from the youth. He's got amazing profile in the media. And 2 years ago, he looked like he was going to be one of the best players in the world. We want that back. And Ten Hag was like, well, yeah, I can do that. I believe in that project as well. So Project Rashford is very important to United, Rashford and the manager. So I don't turn my nose up and disagree when I hear stories about Ten Hag wanting Rashford to be the main man in the team, because I actually think that probably is something that Ten Hag has signed up for. We've seen Ten Hag will take players out of the team, but I don't know whether Ten Hag has absolute favourites. I don't think he does, but, at the moment, Rashford is a player that he values. He wants him to sign a new contract. So I agree with that. I don't think it's preposterous to say that Ten Hag wants Rashford to be a big part of his team, fundamental maybe. Where I do struggle a little bit is, and people are laughing in the chat, is can Rashford be Ten Hag's Haaland? And I don't ever want to be negative about a player that I actually like, but I firmly believe that Rashford's best position is off the left, inverted, getting in behind, angling his runs. I don't see a centre-forward in Marcus Rashford, to be honest with you. Will Erik Ten Hag keep doing counter-attacking style, or will he change, as Raj? And I think that's a great question, which we'll come to in a minute. This weekend was supposed to be a turning point for the Fantasy Premier League team. Also, the English are beating my beloved Pratas at the Oval. Hope you're well, Mark, says Andrew. And I think people have been too fast to write Rashford off. How much would we need to spend to get a player in with these attributes and experience at 24, says Joshua Bowater. Well, I do agree with that. Joshua, I do agree with that. But for me, I think Rashford's best position is off the left. I mean, funnily enough, he scored 2 goals from the left last Sunday. I think this talk about him being the next Haaland, and he's never going to be Haaland, but what I think the article means is, can Marcus Rashford score over 20 goals in a Premier League each season? That's what you mean. You're not talking about, he's never going to be Erling Haaland. He's not got the build. He's not that type of player. He's not a penalty box striker. He's not good in the air. But can he be a 20 goal a season striker? And you know what? I think he can get 20 goals from the wing like Son and Salah did, but I don't think he's a number 9. I really just don't think he's a number 9. And if that's why I think this story is a bit of a nonsense, really, because there's 2 things that jump out to me. If Marcus Rashford has been identified as Erik Ten Hag's number 9, that's going to play through the middle and score him 20 goals a season in the Premier League, then there's 2 things that worry me about that. One, I've watched Ajax, and especially last season, they are a team that spends a lot of time camped on the edge of the box of the opposition. You know, they do create penalty box chances, and Rashford's not good in the air. He's not good at holding the ball up, and he's not really a link player. Rashford's an in behind player, or Rashford's a player that likes to play with his face in the goal. As a striker, you spend a lot of time with your back to goal, and your movement's important off the ball. Rashford's a good player when he's got the ball and he's facing the goal, which is why off the wing he's good, because you get him the ball, he's got to run at the goal. But you give him the ball in number 9 and he's playing with his back to goal. So I don't think Rashford's... And he can be trained, but I don't think his attributes that we know him for suit the number 9 position. So that's one reason. I think he's better off the left. And I don't think he suits... I think he suits counter-attacking football. I don't think he suits a team that's a high possession team as well. So it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be one to watch. I don't know what Ten Hag's plan is, but he has been playing Rashford as a striker. But as soon as he went out, the substitution of Ronaldo won us the game against Arsenal. And the funny thing was, it wasn't Ronaldo that won us the game. It was the tactical change. Putting Ronaldo through the centre made Arsenal's defence get greedy, and they pushed higher because they thought they were going to win the game. And then we could get Rashford angling in off Ben White one-on-one. That tactical switch by Ten Hag won us the game, and it got the best out of Rashford. We never got in behind with Rashford up front against Gabriel and Saliba because they were aware of it. We never got him in behind against Johnny Evans because they were aware of it. We never got him in behind against Southampton because they were aware of it. But when he's been on the left-hand side, he's had 1 against Liverpool and he's had 2 against Arsenal, angling those runs. So I don't think he is a number 9. I think at the moment he's our first choice left-sided attacker, and I think that's where Rashford's best. And look, I don't know what say Rashford's got in it. I mean, we've seen Martial do this. I thought Martial was a very good left-sided player, but wanted to play up front, and he's developed his game. But if I was Marcus Rashford, I'd be looking at Mo Salah and Son and going, well, they've won the Golden Boot from the wing. That's my best position. To me, that's where Rashford's best position. He might be a striker in 5 years' time as he loses his pace, but right now, I think that's where he's got to play. Can you say Leon Lloyd? Jack and Tim, says Yoz. Thank you very much. Would rather Luciano says, I'd rather read McNeil into the role. Feed, I think setting for Rashford, his setting is up to fail. I think there is a lot of people who are anti-Rashford, which is certainly not what I am. But I think when Martial's back fit, it'll be very interesting because I think that Rashford's more in. I think Rashford will play off the left, but. You know what? It could solve a problem, couldn't it? Because you could put Sancho to the left, Rashford up front, and Anthony to the right. So maybe that's what it's on about. Orbit says Rashford's been on fire from the left. You see, sometimes people just don't watch the match, do they, as well? Like, you know, you get a headline that Ten Hag wants Rashford to be his next Haaland, and ultimately he's scored no goals from the number 9 position. They've all been from the wing. Liverpool, he was on the wing, wasn't he? And... both goals against Arsenal, he was on the wing. I think both of his assists have been from number 9, to be fair. Yeah, the Anthony one, he was playing through the middle, and the Sancho one, he was playing through the middle. But his goals have come from the wing. So, yeah. We'll have to wait and see. But it's an interesting thought. Do you think Rashford... Oh, well, let's do a poll.